I paint kindness rocks for strangers to find. Follow along with me while we paint up this fun and easy starfish. Okay, so I've already got my colors pulled out, and I'm just gonna do a couple pastels. I've already shaken them. Just gonna go ahead and make almost like a rainbow, I guess you could say. So just gonna put some stripes across. Should any color show through, you can always fix that later too. Don't worry so much about it. And I don't mind that it's pulling some of that blue that I've already laid down. I think I kind of like that. You could even go and blend them, or, you know, smear them together more if you wanted. This is just basically going to be the background for the design we're going to do. You can choose whatever colors you want. And you can go ahead and make those stripes a little bit more opaque if you want to add a couple more colors. I'm going to leave it as it is, let this dry before we start putting our design on top of it, but I probably will go back and just clean up the edges once we're entirely done. Probably put an outline around it or something like that. So this is going to dry. If you're using paint pens, probably only needs like 10-15 minutes at the most. If you are using bottled paint and a brush, you're gonna definitely need a little bit more time, so we'll come back for that. Okay, so now we've got the 4 colors here. This is just basically my backdrop, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a really simple starfish, which eventually going to be a starfish. So, I mean, we're gonna color that in, but that is, you don't need to be a really skilled artist to do something like this. You're just gonna make that star shape and color it in. You can round out the edges a little bit as you carry on. It's the little details that we're going to add that is going to give this more definition and shape to become, you know, a starfish. But I'm just going to sort of elongate things a little bit to round my... Now, it's absolutely not perfect, but you know what? Starfishes in real life aren't perfect either, and no drawing really is. So I like things to be a little bit more on the whimsical side and the fun side, so do what you're comfortable doing and go easy on yourself. We're going to embellish this one up as soon as the purple dries. So while the starfish is drying, I'm just going to take a white pen and start doing an outline just around the entire shape. And yep, this is not going to look perfect, but I don't want it to. It's just going to provide a little bit of definition, some interest, so we don't have a plain white, plain side. And I will go back over that white as it dries. I'm not gonna come back and extend that leg over the white too, just like we've kept it there, because I kind of want the look of like the starfish is bursting out. I'm gonna continue with this while we wait for the next part. One of the things I wanted to mention is when you're at this stage, you might be thinking, oh, it looks terrible. It looks nothing like what I thought it was going to look like. And I think that too. I think it all the time. It's not until you add little details that can kind of start to bring the design out. You know, an outline can do wonders, little accents, dots, squiggles, scribble lines, that sort of thing. Those are great ideas to add definition and to just sort of give a little bit more character to your design. Okay, I'm going to end up putting a little face on this starfish, which I usually do on almost any kind of nature type picture I do. So I'm going to start with doing that just now so I can see where I'm going to put the rest of the stuff. So I like to give really big eyes and just a basic smile. Now I am going to go back and embellish that a little bit later, but that just gives me a starting point of where everything is supposed to be. Next up, I am going to put just little pink marks here. The idea is to look like a little pink face. And now to give it that starfish look, I'm gonna start making some dots. You can use any contrasting color you want here. I'm just choosing to go with the colors that I used in the background. And just gonna keep giving it a little more definition and colors. And then I'm going to outline it in probably white, I think. No, I'm actually going to outline it in a thicker black for this guy. Now I made my little starfish arms extend a little bit past the frame just to give it a little bit of a more unique look. So you can see my outline went a little wonky there. I am going to color that in with a little darker bit of black, and we'll just make it look like that's a shadow or something. If I was to stop and get upset about every single little mistake I made on one of my painted rocks, I would probably never post them or make them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to just start filling it in a little bit. And I do this little trick because I have shaky hands. So if I want to make my outline just look a little more polished and not so shaky, I will add a thicker outline. And so you can usually tell on the rocks I've done where my outlining really got away from me with a shaky hand because they have really thick outlines. So this is a problem that happens with paint pens. You can see, I don't know if you can see that right there. It's where the paint pen sort of drags and catches. If you use paint pens, you're probably very familiar with that. You can just go back with the color that it is when it's dry and just touch it up really slightly. It does bother me, I don't like it, but unfortunately it comes with the territory with pens because they can kind of drag and skip on the rock, so just deal with that the best you can. Okay, so already I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing here. I'm just gonna go and add a few more black highlights to Just give a little more definition. And one thing I do a lot with my work is I make these little lines like this. Kind of gives it that sketchy vibe. And I also will dot things up, and that just means I'll start adding dots just for a little bit of, almost gives it like a texture effect and just adds a little more interest, right? It's kind of all about the details. This adds a little bit more interest. So you can see how easy that is. I mean, you could make your dots a little bit bigger if you wanted to. I am just going to add the teeniest little white spots on the eyes. So I'm terrible at doing circles. I attempt to do a freehand circle and I just keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger because I don't know when to stop and to get them even. So I can't make even circles, and that's just the way it is. So here you have it. Super, super easy starfish. Give it a background to make it pop. Add little dots, little lines, splashes of color. Give it an outline, and immediately you've got something that kind of jumps off the rock. Got some free space down here, excuse me, that you could write something. You could add even more dots. What about putting some polka dots behind this or accentuating the stripes more? So just take a really basic design like this, keep it basic, or make it your own. Super easy, don't need many colors, and you'll learn on the fly, and every rock that you do is just going to get better and better.